You can begin whenever you're ready.
We're going to ask them to walk straight on a line, and it gives them a sense to laugh at themselves.
I can't even stand up.
But at the end of the lesson, it'll give us a chance to reflect on the importance of why are we doing this?
Wait, I got an idea. Let's take a test.
A lot of times with my students, the academics are really challenging for them. They don't really have the opportunity to lead, to instruct. So when they come here, they have the opportunity. It's their plan.
Oh, it worked!
Thank you so much for your letter. My whole mantra when I started teaching was reach before you teach, which for me really meant make sure that I don't lose sight of sort of these heartbeats in front of me. Because of course the best stories are the ones that we can relate to, that we feel connected with.
It's more like a web of history instead of a linear approach where they don't get, at the end of the day, the purpose or the perspective, and this course really offers that. It's just amazing.
Hello and welcome. I'm Sean Spiller, the host of Classroom Close-Up New Jersey. We have so much to share with you as we focus on how educators are preparing young people to live and thrive in 21st century America. Later on our show, a model STEM learning space and lessons on connecting with students. But first, we're on the right road to keeping teen drivers safe.
Stop!
The leading cause of death and disabilities in teenagers is distracted driving.
We have to ingrain it in their minds immediately. They're so concerned with their cell phones. You see so many people on the road, unfortunately, looking at their cell phones while they're driving.
They think they can automatically just handle the responsibility of driving, to have friends in the car, to have the music loud. We want to let them know that the text can wait. It's not worth it, and it's important just to put that phone down.
So every year, Erica Wright and her students create a campaign to emphasize the dangers of distracted driving. But it was the 2012 campaign that really started the Don't Text and Drive movement.
I don't think it's safe to text and drive. And no offense, but this might just save our lives. There's a problem that we could all fight. Please spread the word, don't text and drive.
We had over 100 students sign up to be part of this music video campaign.
That just kind of kicked everything into high gear, if you will, with the whole no texting and driving, Bordentown Wants You Alive. So that was the campaign that really set us up for all the future activities that we've been participating in for the past several years.
That was year one, and then the second year they wanted to do it again. So we said, yeah, let's do it again. So we produced another video and it took off. So the slogan this year for our campaign is Be a Lifesaver. We wanted to have, whether you're a driver or not, to sign our Don't Text and Drive pledge, and in return you get a little lifesaver.
The pledge is just one component of the campaign. Erica feels that sometimes outside influences have a greater impact.
My name is Violet Marrero. I'm here from NJM Insurance Group, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about driving safely.
Kids sometimes don't want to hear it just from the teachers. They need to know that we have the support from all angles: parents, community members, the police officers, companies like NJM. They really set the tone.
People your age, unfortunately, this is the leading cause of death. We began really working in teen driver safety after realizing what a big issue this is and how it's hitting us here in New Jersey. So we began sponsoring different programs, got very involved in the schools, and Bordentown was one of our very first partners in this initiative, so we're proud to be here. The point of the presentation is really to leave them with something that makes them think twice before they make a decision that could lead to their being involved in a crash. Whether that's, you know what, this text can wait, and I'm going to put the phone down, I'm not going to answer it, I'm going to silence it, or I'm going to put my seatbelt on because I understand how important it is. I'm not going to have additional passengers in my car because I understand how much more risk I'm at as well as they are when we're driving together. It's really about decision making, making really good decisions when you're getting behind the wheel, understanding the weight of responsibility that you have when you're driving.
Making smart decisions is critical, especially the decision to get behind the wheel under the influence.
All right, you can begin whenever you're ready.
Thanks to the Bordentown Police, students can clearly see, or not, how alcohol can affect something so easy as walking a straight line.
I can't even stand up.
1.
We're going to ask them to walk straight on a line.
3.
It gives them a sense to laugh at themselves. But at the end of the lesson, it'll give us a chance to reflect on the importance of why are we doing this?
These goggles simulate the different levels of intoxication.
I believe Sean is going to have a tough time. Hopefully he laughs at himself.
It was so much harder when I saw the line more and I was trying to walk on this line. Oh.
Walking them through a sobriety check with them on, it's pretty revealing. You know, you understand, wow, okay, this is going to be something that'll be a problem. And so there is a connection that's made. I think it's enlightening for them.
Did you learn anything from this? And really, this is the whole conversation and what Ken learned about today?
Like, obviously, just don't drink and drive, because if you can't even walk in a straight line, let alone you can't, like, drive, like, you put other people at risk.
The students even had a chance to get behind the wheel wearing the goggles.
I wouldn't make it very far.
That didn't last long.
What these simulators do, each student gets about a 10-minute session, and we like to give them this opportunity before they do their 6 hours behind the wheel. There are two different types of simulators. One's going to put them in a situation where they actually bring out their cell phone and they're going to be asked to give a text while they're driving.
It's really easy to make a lot of mistakes even when you're not distracted, so like if you have something else to look at, you're really putting yourself at risk.
I definitely do think that our campaign over the past several years has made an impact in the way our students think. The way they operate vehicles when they're behind that wheel. They understand after going through our program how significant a mistake like that could be.
I took the pledge. I took the pledge.
I took the pledge. I took the pledge. And I took the pledge.
I can tell you, it was not easy walking a straight line with those goggles on. But all joking aside, distracted driving is a serious issue. And while cars are getting smarter, today's new drivers still need to practice safe habits behind the wheel. Maybe we are going to see self-driving cars in the next decade, and a lot of other advances too, all the result of STEM learning that begins in the classroom.
Let's try something different.
You try something different. Good job.
My name's Habib, and I'm going to show you how to work the circuits.
Almost.
We're working on this Lego robotic and making them cooler.
This room was a vision. We wanted to create a room where every child could walk in and be successful to build skills that they'll need for the future. And we wanted to build the background of STEM.
No. What's happening now? Do you want to start over again? Yes. So if we start over again, we're going to recode him, right? Recode him. You can.
We have students at Memorial School with different abilities. So what I do in computers is I train them on the different centers, our special needs children, on how to be experts in different areas. Because we don't know what jobs that will be out there when our students are graduating, but we know what skills they need. So we chose coding, robotics, physics of fun, 3D design, and circuits.
Oh no! What happens? What happens when they fall?
Fix it.
You fix it. You just fix it. I've been a media specialist for 22 years. My role when I am in the STEM room is to be basically a hands-off adult body that is allowing the special engineers to create and develop. They are the experts I help. They teach me things every day, every day.
Our special engineer is a student that may have some challenge abilities. And I think that what you see when peer buddies come in and they realize that they're learning from all of their friends and their special engineers, that you can see that that's something that they're going to take with them beyond our school.
So what's that?
Yeah, you can touch for the hint.
For a hint.
My role on the team is to help develop an environment that was accessible to all of our students. As OTs, we are concerned with that, no matter what their physical or cognitive or emotional capabilities. The Osmo really brings the digital world into the 3D world. It takes into account their visual perceptual skills and their fine motor skills for building part-to-whole relationships.
So it says move it right. I taught Sabrina how to do the Osmo. So when we add that, will it stop this from going that way? No, it will. It's going to stop it. It's going to stop. Let's try. A peer buddy is like when you come into the STEM room and sometimes like they'll be teaching you a lot of new things. Oh, it works. It does work. How'd you come up with the design though? Will has taught me some stuff. When we were building today, he was like, with the Brooklyn Bridge, he was putting things to like make it stay and not fall. Wait, I got an idea. Let's take a test.
A lot of times with my students, the academics are really challenging for them. They don't really have the opportunity to lead, to instruct. So when they come here, they have the opportunity, it's their plan, and they have, with the help of the peer buddies, they're able to make it happen.
These are the robots.
Okay, and how do you make them move? They love it. They love coming here. They love engaging in all of the activities, and they're learning.
He's doing a good job moving them around. Those are a lot of big circles on the field. I'm looking to find different ways for them to incorporate language for the pragmatic aspects of language, as well as just using everyday language.
Maybe we could turn it over, like this. Good job.
I love seeing the different children shine. I've been working with the special needs population for 14 years, and it's really a great new tool that they're able to utilize.
You don't need a $10,000 grant in order to start implementing this with just the basics. You could do this from the dollar store.
Counting by 2. I'm a master of Lego robotics. The secret is code. 19. No, do you think 20? Yeah. You could build anything with it.
It makes my heart so happy because it's created an amazing environment and culture in our building.
How does it feel being an expert?
Very, kind of feel very proud.
There's nothing more exciting than watching children develop and have their opportunities. And that's what the public school system provides. With the collaborative work of a whole group of people. You know, it takes a village. And we have that here.
Innovation normally dies on the vine. In Howell Township, we don't allow that to happen. We really push to the next step so that our students and our community can be the beneficiaries of that work.
If you give them the freedom and the tools to use, they will move mountains and they will create something that they didn't even know they could create. They have a voice and their voice is worth it and their voice is meaningful.
You are teaching students how to treat their peers. It's not about compassion, it's about friendship and that you learn from each other.
I want to be a president and give food to the poor for free. Yeah.
When you think of connections, what comes to mind? Sure, there's the synaptic kind, maybe connecting the dots. There's chords and switches for staying in touch. But when you really want to reach someone, there's nothing like actually being there.
Thank you so much for your letter. My whole mantra when I started teaching was reach before you teach, which for me really meant make sure that I don't lose sight of sort of these heartbeats in front of me and getting to know my students and making connections with them. Hello, darlings!
One of the first things you notice about Elizabeth is her energy and her enthusiasm. That's her calling card. That's hard to miss. Embedded within that is a deeply reflective person who's adept at looking at multiple perspectives, not just her own. If you read the novel she's written, you know that it's written with alternating chapters. The even chapters are from the perspective of a teacher named Mrs. Moore, and the odd chapters are written from the perspective of a student named Petey Guzman. And she keeps going back and forth. And I think that's emblematic of how she functions as a teacher and as a person.
You guys know we are studying the novel after. Right? Good readers anticipate what's going to happen in the text. All right, so all the words I'm about to give you have to do with the novel. You are going to have to predict what you think is going to happen after.
Okay, it's something you do on the computer and you send it to people.
Email. Thank you. Ooh. It's like the NBA.
I have a lot of bodily kinesthetic learners in there, tactile learners. They like to get up and move. So what I wanted to do was introduce the book in a way that piques their interest, that ignites discussion, that gets them excited about reading.
Transportation.
Allison is one of my students who got transferred into my class a little after the year had started. And it was right around our winter break that she came to me with a letter that she had written, and it actually brought me to tears.
Dear Mrs. Elko, as the school year comes to an end, I want to take a moment to reflect upon this year and how profound you have been on it. The school year had a rocky start, but as I was transferred over to you, I'd hoped that this year would be better. I was right. Never have I known a soul to be as caring and kind-hearted as you. You have shown me that there are still teachers out there who care for nothing more than their students and their passions for what they teach. You truly have touched my heart through your actions.
When you see Mrs. Elko's class, it's genuine. She's looking at the whole child. These students sometimes are here more than they are at home. They come here for their breakfast, lunch, and they stay for sports after school. So Ms. Elko is sometimes more of a caregiver in a sense as well. She's not just teaching the curriculum, but she's also helping them become young adults.
I'm a huge fan of the College of New Jersey, TCNJ. I went there for my undergraduate and my graduate work. And the program that I took, which was a lot of Dr. Ams's classes, were designed with the teacher in mind, to hone your craft in a way that is so important to today's teens.
And the way we do that, one of the strongest ways, is through reflective practice. Really looking at who you are as a teacher and how your own history, your own values, your beliefs, attitudes, assumptions influence the culture of your classroom and the experience that your students have within the curriculum.
Because of course the best stories are the ones that we can relate to, that we feel connected with, that we feel like, oh. So it was a lot of thinking about how to connect with students and how to reach each one of them. For me, it's kind of about getting to every single kid. I make it my mission to try to reach every single one of them. I know you came to me and asked about, you were gonna write an email. Was it University of Oklahoma? Yes. Mike had come to me, and he's a great basketball player, and he wanted to send an email to the director of athletics at a college that he's very interested in playing D1 basketball. That might take an hour out of your day when you only technically have scheduled maybe a half-an-hour lunch or maybe a 40-minute prep period. Teachers are often called beyond the call of duty to sort of work in these other things. So I know countless teachers who are either kind of staying after and putting in the time, after the school day is over, or sometimes I have breakfast at 6 o'clock at night just because you're sort of busy trying to make sure that you are addressing their needs and concerns, because a lot of it is one-on-one attention.
Coming to Miss Elko's class, it's an honest place. You can talk to Miss Elko about anything.
The first prompt is, what I love. Go!
You're going through something hard, or you're doing anything in your life that's a struggle, and you come in here and it's upbeat, and she connects with everybody the best that she can. And then it's like me and her have had half-an-hour conversations after class during her lunch break and when I'm supposed to be going home.
This one is what I fear.
When she's teaching, everyone wants to engage in her lessons and really get involved, because she always wants us to, and she's always interacting with us one-on-one with everyone.
She makes sure that everything is more than just reading something off of a book. It's more about you, and then your experiences or what you're kind of going through.
So that this way you're actually making sure that you're stemming things from real life, you're making sure that it's going to connect with an audience.
She calls us all the Cubs.
Okay, Cubs, ready?
I feel very comfortable sharing my opinion in class. She makes it a big point to have class discussion, and I think that gives all the students a voice.
There's a great expression a lot of teachers know. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. For me, it is this meaningful relationship. It's every single child, one kid at a time, one child at a time. And I think that they know that I truly care.
And you made it such an easy transition for me.
You're watching Classroom Close-Up. Don't text and drive. Bordentown wants you alive.
It's coming faster. Unchallenged. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Right now, close your eyes. Protein. Open your eyes. What came to mind?
Good afternoon, leaders of Elsewhere. We are here to propose and encourage a switch from fossil fuels to renewable energy.
Tell us what complexity you created and how it's used in our everyday lives.
So I am Fluorine Man.
And I am Magnesium Girl.
So together we make magnesium fluorine.
Michael Gerber's students cover a lot of material. 7th graders are analyzing nutritional intakes to create an ideal school lunch. 8th graders are trying to convince an imaginary town to adopt renewable energy. 6th graders are doing experiments to understand asteroid impacts, and 5th graders are learning how elements combine to create chemical compounds. Sounds like health, government, astronomy, and chemistry, right? Actually, it's history. Big history.
So, we look at history through 13.8 billion years. And big history essentially is a history course, but there's a twist. It's a history course through the lens of science. And what I mean by that is it's multidiscipline, where we approach it with different insights through historical and scientific approaches, where then the students are able to create this one long, beautiful, coherent story where they're able to understand people, civilizations, and how everything around us is connected. Yesterday, I had you go back and look at your nutrition, your daily diet. This course was designed by a gentleman named David Christian, who taught it at a collegiate level, and Bill Gates happened to stumble upon this course, and he thought to himself, wow, this course is amazing. He approached David Christian to say, hey, could you implement this at a public high school level? And so they tackled it. Look up there, 9 to 13, male to female. Look down. 7th grade, we just finished a project called Feed the World. And in that project, students have to figure out historical trends of different conditions that support the earth, such as population growth, food production, and then they have to figure out at what point can the earth stop supporting us as humans if we continue on this rate. And that's quite mind-blowing. So we talk about, the advent of agriculture, how it was such a turning point in mankind's history, and then we took it to the next step, which we talked about of, okay, agriculture got us to this point. How's it going to look 100 years from now? And that's very personal because it's their lives. Now that you understand your daily consumption, your nutrition, I want you to look back at your ancestors. They had to create a daily diet of themselves and go through the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats, and what they're going to do is now they're going to analyze with hunter-gatherers as well as early farmers. Look at early foragers. What are they eating?
Lots of... This is fruit, root vegetables, grubs,
They're
bugs.
eating a lot
Grubs
of
and
different
bugs.
meats.
Which have more protein than meat.
Fats. A forager, how many grams of fat does a forager have?
34.
They consume about 34 grams. And now what's the trend or pattern?
It's going up.
It is increasing for
mine
sure.
is 102 fats. So ours has increased tremendously.
What's different? What's the same? What stands out to you? And at the end of this, the students are really going to get a bigger perspective of, do I have to change my eating habits? And do others have to change their eating habits? Remember when we started off this unit? I had you guys create or think of the best school lunch ever? You guys like barbecue ribs with pizza. And you made it very, very delicious, which was the prompt. But now, you're going to do this again. This time, you're going to take everything that you've learned, what's delicious as well as what's nutritious. One school lunch for every kid in the nation every day. Will we one day have to revert back? Is that such a horrible thing? Is it a great thing? Will we continue on this rise of complexity? Now, you're going to have to give them more than chicken.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's make this balanced.
So you just have to make it 850 calories.
Right.
Oh, wait, we can use the food tracker. You have to make sure you don't go over the limits. I'm only getting protein. I got orange juice.
You have history blending with biology, for example, with the life unit, or chemistry with the element unit. It's a class where it's not, you don't walk in and go, oh, this is science class or this is history class. This is kind of a life. This is a class about learning.
Since it was designed for high schoolers, Gerber's original plan was to teach big history to the 7th and 8th graders in the Gifted and Talented program. However, the idea was so well received, he was asked to expand it to include 5th and 6th grades.
And this course was a way to take not only the content being high school, but the content of all these amazingly deep conceptual thinking approaches and offer this to our 7th and 8th graders. But at the 5th, 6th grade level, we do have to do a lot more modification, but keep the major ideas in place.
Even though students have to sacrifice their study hall to take Big History, there's more demand than available spaces. Something Gerber attributes to the course's focus on curiosity, critical thinking, and fun.
I want them to take away the bigger picture of who they are, their purpose, perspective on life, how to treat others, how to solve problems, and to try to open their minds up that, you know, it's bigger than yourself, it's bigger than the person next to you, it's bigger than all the plants and animals out there. It's huge, it's universal, it's big history.
Make your predictions, go.
How to treat others, solve problems, and open minds. The Big History Project approach to education reminds us that humans are the only species capable of passing along large volumes of knowledge from generation to generation. This collective learning has accelerated the pace of change in technology, communications, and our society. It's why educators are constantly updating their skills, learning how to reach students, challenge them, encourage curiosity, and lifelong learning. We've added a link on our website if you'd like to learn more about Big History Project. You can also watch any part of this show you may have missed and search for past stories in our video library. And please join us next time to see more inspiring stories from our public schools. Until then, for Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, I'm Sean Spiller. See you soon. Hey, what are you guys working on?